Hello, everyone. I am Major Hemorrhoid, and this is the Roid Rage podcast. Thank you very much for tuning in. I hope you enjoy it. This election day special. That's right. It's November the 5th, 2024. And we have a delightful little election going on today. Presidential race of Donald Trump versus Kamala Harris. Various other fun people and ideas and ballot measures being put forward for you to choose. Now, for those of you wondering how I'm voting, I have some news for you that you probably will not like. I'm sure you won't like it because I've heard much about it over my lifetime. The debate of voting. Should I vote? Should I not vote? Well, guess what, folks? I have a ballot around here somewhere, and I couldn't care less. That's right. I am not voting. Now, for those of you who are having a knee-jerk reaction, congratulations, you're human. No worries, no doubts. For those of you who are not having a knee-jerk reaction and simply asking why, whether you agree with me or not, I am going to explain it, hopefully well enough for everyone to understand. For a long time, I have been paying attention to politics. And one of the trends that I've always noticed is that the best decisions aren't the ones voted for. Most of the time, the worst decisions are the ones voted for, in favor for, and I'm always annoyed that it happens, and that when I do vote, oftentimes, especially, my political ideologies and philosophies and life, same, ideologies, political, whatever, don't fall in line with the majority of where I live, especially at the state level. I believe in living in government. I believe in freedom for all, minimal taxes, just enough government to function. Imagine Ron Swanson from Parks and Recs. That's kind of what I believe in. Is it going to happen? Hell no. Too many people profit from a big government. And oftentimes it's not the people paying for it. That's kind of the other reason why I don't vote, because since I'm against new taxes, because I've seen government waste far more money than it ever has used it helpfully. It's just, Jesus Christ. California, the high-speed rail project that's so way beyond the monetary value of what it was supposed to be that they're even wondering if they should continue. They've got chunks of it built, and it just, you're like, how much did you spend? Wow! And the taxpayers, obviously went along with it. So they're on the hook for all of this money, and it's like, did they waste it? Well, obviously, because it's one of the things I've heard constantly is government waste. How much government waste can a government employee waste if they can waste what they can waste every day? And when you've got overinflated budgets with a ton of benefits and everything else that government gets, I don't want to vote for it. I don't want to even support it most of the time. I want it trimmed down. I want it taken back at least a few notches from what it is today. A lot less bureaucracy, a lot less government employees, a lot less taxes to get it all to pay for, and a lot less, fraudulent money being printed so it can look like we have enough to pay for it all. Kind of like that to stop. That's kind of reason why I don't vote, because a long time ago I learned they're not listening. And if they do, they'll wait long enough to let you and your fervor die down a little bit so they can put it on through either through another ballot measure or through the legislature. So it's another one of those, hey, guess what? What's the point? And who are we really voting for? That's the other thing. Part of the vote every year is for all the ballot measures that, city, county, state wants to put forth to get you to pay more taxes so they can, increase more government so they can fund their friends getting a job and fat ass retirement benefits. Motherfucker, we're broke. We don't have the money for that anymore. Nickel and dime us to death to the point where all we've got left are nickels and dimes. Do you think I want to vote for that? Again, they'll try it again. Just slip it through the back door when we're not looking. That's another reason why, because it's like, if I say no, how many others are going to say no? And the people I vote for, why would I want to vote for them? I don't know them. I don't know who they are, what they're about, what they're capable of, what they're competent at. I don't have a clue. Am I going to get anything from a 30-second news clip, from an interview that was highly edited to the point where you're going, did a YouTuber make this? I don't know. And I've met politicians, talked with them for a minute. I've met bureaucrats, met with them, talked for a few minutes. I've met with candidates. I've talked with them for a few minutes until I was... got to go meet other people because I wanted to find out what they were about. And I found out what they were about. They were, in their words, I don't know anything about the area. I don't know anything about the people here, but I really want to represent you. Well, how the fuck are you going to represent me if you don't know anything about me? And then you start asking them questions and you find out just they're a political tool. They've got no will, they've got no want, they've got no desire. They're just doing it for kicks and giggles. So it's like, why would I want to vote for you? You're really not inspiring, are you? And why should I trust you? I mean, you're willing to tell me that, but then it just becomes a political game of handshake, kiss ass, verbal blowjobs, and that's great. But that just tells me I don't want to vote for you. And there's a lot of those. I mean, I never meet any of these candidates. I'm never going to meet most of the people that I'm supposed to be voting for, and they give you the convenient choice, D or R. You've got the gang symbol, Democrat or Republican, whichever side you subscribe to the most, that's who you're supposed to vote for. Click this box unless you really feel the other person is a lot better than what you're subscribed to. Yeah. Because once you get to a certain point of the, political hierarchy, you get those letters. And that's who you're supposed to vote for. You get a choice. You might get an independent once in a while, somebody who might think out of the box, or at least you hope thinks out of the box and isn't just another political tool. But how do you know? You never meet the people. And if you do, it's a staged Q&A, and you pray to God that you get an answer that's coherent and lasts for maybe 10 to 15 seconds. Do you believe the budget needs to be constrained? Yes, I do. Do you think such and such needs to, change the operating? God, whatever. But, short, quick answers to real people's questions. You're not going to get that from a politician. You might get that from somebody who is like, I don't give a fuck. I've got money. I got power. I don't have family. I don't give a shit. It's not, go full Bulworth. For those that, heard that name and recognized it, and was like, I've heard that before. That was a movie back in the 90s. starred Warren Beatty, and he took I'm not gonna spoil it because I'd actually want you to watch it because it's a great movie, and it's like I said, I'm not gonna spoil it. I want you to go see it. It's a great movie. But that's about what it would take. I don't want to spoil it. It's too goddamn good to spoil. Great soundtrack, by the way. Really great soundtrack. You want to hear 90s hip-hop, R&B, rap, kicks ass, takes names? Yeah, it's got some good stuff on it. But anyway, a political burnout who decides he's had enough. It's like Falling Down with less violence. There's another kind of every man gets screwed over and decides they've had enough kind of deal. It's it's a genre. A lot of movies like that over the decades, and some of them are really good and some of them aren't. Those were two pretty good ones. Anyway, going back to the people that you're voting for, again, I don't know these people. I don't know if I can trust them. It's just South Park episode, turd sandwich, giant douche. That's who I'm voting for. Because in the end, that's what happens. You either eat a turd sandwich because the person you voted for did exactly the opposite of what they said they were going to do, or the other guy who you didn't vote for is a giant douche because he's doing everything he said he would do. At least that's what you're being told by the media that you listen to. It doesn't really matter which side you're on now, does it? But if you want to know when I stopped voting, 2012 was, I think, the last election I really took seriously. I may have voted in between, but I'll tell you what I voted for in a minute. Obviously, if I vote, it's against new taxes. I don't think government needs any more money than it already has, and it's going to waste it if it gets it. So let's get that out of the way. So any taxes you decide to throw at me, it gets a no immediately. You don't need any more of my money. I need more of my money than you need more of my money. Get it? And it's just the people again. Why would I want to vote for you when I don't know what you're about, but I know you're lying to me? Because, of course, you're telling me what I want to hear to get me to vote for you. Just cursory enough at times to be like, oh, I really relate to this person, therefore I must vote for them. And they are on my side. They're a D or they're an R, so therefore I must vote for them. That's another reason why I don't vote. I don't like being given crap choices and being told you must choose one or the other. Choosing the lesser of two evils is still choosing evil. It doesn't fucking matter what their gang symbol is. It doesn't fucking matter what they say they're subscribing to and what they believe in, because you know goddamn well it's a lie. The moment they get in, they're told by their party benefactors to do what they're supposed to do, shut up, because they were vetted before they walked through the door and they walked onto that campaign stage. You think somebody with balls, brains, and cash, or ovaries, whatever, you think someone with ovaries, cash, and just fucking moxie up the wazoo is going to want to be a politician? Especially if they've been a hardcore, good-ass businessman. They're going to know how the game of politics is played from a business standpoint. So, why would they want to be the king when they've been the kingmaker? They've been the one putting the money to get the politicians to do what they want. Why the fuck would they want to put them on themselves on the receiving end of that particular equation? So there's another reason why I don't vote. Because I know whoever put that person there has got a larger agenda than what I've got cash for to oppose. I've got the will of the people? Yeah, right. But maybe I do. Maybe I do. Because here's the reason why. There are a lot of people who don't vote. They've checked out of the system because the system sucks. It doesn't look like it's for their benefit. It looks like it's for somebody else's benefit. And it's definitely not their, somebody else higher on the food chain. That's who it seems like it's for sometimes. As many, sycophants and, bootlickers and whatever say, oh, the system is completely great. It's wonderful, blah, 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 blah. No. There are people getting fucked over. I mean, it happens in every system. So this one is not going to be, beneficial to all. But considering what's happening, can we fix some of it, please, so it doesn't turn into a tidal wave of, unrest, civil war, just checking, more people checking out than wanting to check in. Because if you get a business that nobody wants to check into to buy shit for or from, the business goes under. So what happens with the voters say enough is enough and we're tired of putting up with this? Well, the system goes under. So we need to fix it. Is there anyone out there willing to fix it who's got the moxie and the stamina and the sheer spine? Because, there are people who are going to douse you and cancel you and everything else. Not too many. What's the point of getting into it? You're going to get crucified one way or the other. So what's the point of even running? So why would good people run? It's an interesting concept. So, so if I know I'm not going to get good people who can stand against the tidal wave of corruption and stupidity and incompetence, why would I want to vote for them? Which is why when I do vote, and I don't know or believe in the candidate I vote for, or I'm supposed to vote for, I vote none of the above. For those of you who are going, none of the above? Is that a choice? It's like, yeah, it's called write-in. It's called write-in. I can write none of the above in. I enjoy it. If I'm going to vote for something that I truly believe in, and neither person going up for it represents my best interests or that I know of, none of the above. Right there. Boom. Done. Well, that's a lot of spots to write in. Damn right it is. I'll put in the effort. I got no problems doing that. Why wouldn't I? Voting is my civic duty, right? So when I do vote, I'm going to cast my vote for the choice that I think makes the most sense. But how can you do that? We have to maintain the dichotomy that is currently there. And if we don't, then the entire system collapses. No, the entire system collapses when enough people are complacent enough about the system and the political structure that they no longer pay attention and just checkmark things. That's when the system falls. When so much corruption and incompetence has been allowed to fester and the system is operating from termite-infested, completely rotten foundations, from maluse, from neglect, from various, natural erosion, whatever. Yeah. So yeah, I vote none of the above. And if it's for taxes, I definitely say no. And if it's, hey, we need to restrict your rights to appease some fear-mongering, nosy Nancy or, Red Fred or whatever the fuck kind of analogous person that's just got their nose fucking right up your ass. Oh, I think I know better than you, therefore I'm going to stick this right up your ass. It's like, kiss my ass. You're not, no, get your nose out of my ass and trying to see if my shit stinks as much as yours. No, go away. Leave me the fuck alone. Leave everybody else alone too, for that matter. It's not just me. I'm doing this because I know you want to be left alone too. You want to live your own goddamn life like it's actually your life. Right? You want to live your own life as if it's your actual own fucking life. To where some just nosy Nancy has their hand in the cookie jar going, well, you don't need this. We think this is bad for you. We're going to take this out and not leave you enough because we really think it would be better for you to, as a person, to grow as a human. Pigs at the trough. But yeah. And yeah, liberties, personal liberties. Oh yes, absolutely. I'm for them. Definitely for free speech. I know history well enough to know that speech codes don't end well for anyone, including the people who are preaching for them, shilling for them. But then why don't you vote? Because whoever's counting my vote has to be listening. They don't have an agenda. They're going to do a fair and impartial job. And I think from many of the news reports, especially recently, we're hearing a lot of people actually giving up on being fair, objective, and respectable. And respectful to both sides, to the voters. Whether it's getting caught more because it's such an endless media stream of microscopes, or it's just because people feel more emboldened to enforce their ideological, political will. Yes, that happens. It happens. I know a lot of you say voter fraud doesn't happen. Yeah, that's what the news tells you. That's what your politician idols tell you. You don't think voter fraud happens? Really? Everybody who's in charge of the elections and the vote counting is just 100% impartial. They'd never do anything weird or out of line or whatever. You believe that? I have a real distrust of government, of bureaucrats, of politicians. And you might say, well, it's a little unhealthy, isn't it? I was like, it kind of needs to be. When you know they're liars and frauds and elitists and people who don't really give a damn about you running the show, and they just do it to, in many ways, perpetuate their own jobs. But again, you might also be asking a question, well, if you don't trust any of those people, would you vote for yourself? You obviously think you're high and mighty and you're better than everyone else. And you honestly are just so much superior, right? You honestly would vote for yourself and think you could do a fantastic job. Would I vote for myself? Well, I have when I've run. And you want to know something? I'm not an ass kisser, or I'm not a brown noser, and I'm not an ego massager to the extent that I could survive in a political world. Because if somebody asked me a straight and forward question, I'd give a straightforward and honest answer from my perspective, and you'd either laugh or be horrified that I'd be willing to say it and what I said. That happened. Oh man, did that happen. Should you vote for me? I'd be like that person you'd vote for as you walked in, it was like, fuck it. I'll vote for him. Goes totally against everything I know, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. He seems completely out of whack and totally off his fucking rocker, but I'm going to vote for him instead. Why? Because at least he means what he says. It's the only reason you would vote for me or should vote for me. That's about it. Would I do all the brown nosing and ass kissing? Well, I try to make, allies. I'm not going to purposely piss people off unless they really, truly deserve it. You might. You just might. Hell, if you've seen some of my joke material lately, you might. You just might. But yeah, I'm not voting. I don't like any of my choices. It's not that I think there's a difference between Trump and Kamala that it's not worth voting for. I just don't think either one of them really gives a shit about us. Back when it was Hillary versus Trump, I was like, the Pied Piper versus the Queen of Corruption. Which evil will you choose? Because I think Donald Trump is a Pied Piper. I think he's here to play a tune for everybody to dance to. And after he's gone, it's just, I mean, for the last 4 years, not everything went to hell in a handbasket, shit and whatever, but, we've been walking around with a president who literally and obviously has dementia and should be in a fucking nursing home, and he's supposedly running the country. So, I remember when they were trying to get rid of Trump around the middle to the end with the whole senile dementia. And I remember back in the late 80s when it was Ronald Reagan and they were complaining about senile dementia towards the end of his presidency. He's old as fuck. He must have it. He's showing display and we got a president who literally can't form coherent sentences from one moment to the next and just looks completely out of it. It's like, I don't know where I'm at. I don't know what's going on. Who's got cookies? What the fuck is he doing in president? And what are our allies saying as this doddering old man who just shouldn't be up in a position of power is somehow running the world? You really believe that? Who the fuck is running things if he's not the one putting stamps of approval and disapproval on shit? Again, what am I voting for? None of the above. If I'm not there and I can't trust myself to do the damn job right, none of the above. That's what I'm going to do. Don't care. And if I don't want to do it, tough titties. Because again, do I want more taxes? No. Are they going to vote for more taxes? Hell yes. Do I want more infringements on liberties and freedoms? No, I don't. Are they going to vote for it? Hell yes. Again, doesn't matter if it's at the ballot, doesn't matter if it's backdoor legislative at this point. This is not a fucking democracy, ladies and gentlemen. This is a representative republic, constitutional republic, which means the person who's going to represent you at the big building in the middle of the state may not necessarily believe in what you believe, but because they're of your party of choice, they will represent you. At least what they're told to represent. Whether it's you telling them or not. I don't like it. But is there a better system? I mean, democracy itself? No. Absolutely not. Tyranny by majority? Hell no. The idea that 50.1% of the populace could vote for something and immediately have it happen, and then everybody who is no longer able to do what that 50.1% said you couldn't do is now a criminal. That's what a democracy can accomplish when it really feels like it. Sorry. Will of the people can be pretty dumb sometimes. Now, again, it's really all I've got to say on the subject. It's election time. You're all going to vote. It's going to be great. Everything's going to work out the same. It's like George Carlin said, on election day, I stay home. Fuck it. I don't vote. First of all, it's meaningless. The people in charge don't give a shit about us. They don't listen to us unless we're so vociferous about what we're saying that they're all like, whoa, wait a minute. We'll change your minds. But if you're voting for it, it's like tacit disapproval. Oh, okay, enough of you said no, we'll do this in somewhere else and somehow else. We'll stick this somewhere else. So that way we can stick it to you later on, because we need that money. We really do. We really need that money. So saith the government. If I'm not there, I don't trust them. And if I'm there and I were to get involved in that viper's nest, I'd be like, oh, you motherfuckers are wrong. Wow. I was like, you've got no spine, you've got no morals, you've got no character, you're just a good little puppet. Puppet. I'm here to maintain my job. Go America. Vote for me. I'll do everything I promise. Yeah, that's right. Promise. I'll do it all. You can vote for me. You can trust me. I'm just like you. Some of them, when they get in, maybe they're that way. After going through the system a few times, just even once, am I going to believe that? Not really. So I vote none of the above. If I do vote. And I'm not voting. Couldn't give a fuck. What I see sucks for choices. And in the end, I don't think my vote counts for nothing. And that's why a lot of people don't vote. Some of them do believe exactly what I'm saying, or, wrong me right now, going, yeah, absolutely. That's exactly why I don't vote. The choices suck. It seems like everybody wants to make the bad fucking choice. And sometimes I wonder if all of us got together in a room and said, fuck this shit. We're done. Let's form our own party. We can call it the Leave Me Alone Party. None of the above party. But then again, if we ever become top ballot, I guess we would say no to ourselves. Maybe. That could happen. Yeah. None of the above. It's the only choice I'd make if I was making one this year. For the piece of paper. And I'm not. Get pissed all you want. Rah me all you want. I'm speaking my mind and I'm speaking my opinion, and that's the way I am. If you don't like it, suck it. Suck it. More people need to say that when people start trying to play cancel culture. Suck it. It's my opinion. If you're so tolerant, listen and learn. And then go about your merry way. But until next time, this is Major Hemorrhoid, your host for this fun and frivolity-laden podcast. I want to thank you all for tuning in. I hope you have enjoyed it. And if this was a little long-winded for you, you can suck it. Peace out, y'all.